Good afternoon, Paris. My name is Andrea Donaldson Smith. My career journey has been a bit up and down, a bit all over the place. I've worked in bars, I've worked in hotels, I've done front of house roles, worked with receptions, catering. And it got to a point where I was just more interested in finding a career. So I wanted to be a reception manager. However, the role I was given was guest relations, and it turned out that I was very good at dealing with problems. So and the way I would put it is that I've always had a customer experience or customer service based role. I seem to be good at it. Sometimes I don't think I am, but it seems to come naturally. I seem to be able to fit in many different environments. And other than the usual hospitality things that I've done, I have also done corporate work, and now I'm currently working in a private organisation, client side.
Nice. So if I'm leading on to sort of the next point, I wanted to know sort of how you dived into and, got into facilities management.
I'm going to say the most unoriginal thing that you've probably ever heard is I don't know. Right? I don't think many of us know how we
Yep.
got into facilities management. As I mentioned previously, so I was working at a hotel, I was guest relations manager. That meant I had to do daily executive duty as well as deal with the customers, liaise with different departments. And when I was ready to move on from that, I found a role that was for, what was it, facilities coordinator. And it happened to be all of the same things. And I found out that I'd been doing facilities since I was probably 18 and not realised it. Why I love it though, and why I want to stay in facilities is the challenges and the varied responsibilities. Also, I believe that it's hard to be complacent in this type of role because it's so different every day. I mean, one day it can be a leak, the next day it could be a massive event that goes a little bit squiff. Sometimes it's about strategy, sometimes about day-to-day operations, and it's so different that there's no opportunities to be bored.
Nice. Okay. So what would you say are some of the challenges women face within the facilities industry?
Um, I've actually thought about that, and I personally feel it's the credibility questions. I mean, it's not something that I had thought about long and hard prior to joining the industry, but the more that I'm in the industry, and I don't think it's necessarily intentional, I think it can be unconscious bias as well, is that being young and female, in my opinion, um, sometimes looks like I'm not credible, or the style that I have. I'm a little bit different. I've got piercings, I've got dyed hair, and sometimes you can get that feeling. And I'm sure a lot of women have of feeling like the little girl in the room, surrounded by a bunch of guys who know more, have more experience, have the qualifications. So I feel that sometimes you get overlooked, and if you speak out or you're a bit too confident, you can be classed as difficult, stroppy, hysterical. I've seen so many things where women have said that that's how they've been perceived, and that's women from all walks of life, all races. Um, and the further I go along, the further I'm starting to see that it's true. I think it is
Yeah.
true. It's
Nice.
sad but true.
So just touching on that then, I wanted to know how would you advise young female leaders on how to build their confidence in their ability, as a manager and a leader?
I think it's best that we stop second guessing ourselves. Keep confident. We do. I like to think that we do our jobs because we know we can do them, and all it takes is for someone to disagree with you, or someone to have a different idea, or someone to have a louder voice, for you to sort of get into your little box, hide away, and go, do you know what? No, I'm not gonna put myself out there anymore. So definitely don't second guess yourself. Be more confident. Ignore as far as you can the imposter syndrome, and more than that, you need a tribe. I didn't think it's something I would say, but you need a tribe, and I'm very blessed to have a group of amazing women in my life, and some really impressive and supportive male allies as well.
Perfect. So just touching on that then, so what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would say to embrace who I was sooner. I I remember a turning point when I was younger where I said I'm not going to apologize for being who I am anymore. Um, and that's the only thing I would suggest. I'm a bit of a chameleon. I can fit into very different environments, but I now am very confident and passionate about my values, my boundaries. They are non-negotiable. I won't change them. It doesn't make me obnoxious or stubborn. That's me understanding who I am and not apologizing for it, because who I am has got me where I am today. And who knows, had I had this before, I could have outshone where I am at this point.
Yeah, nice. And is there a particular leader or mentor that you look up to?
Not just one. So I've got a few. I've got a few
Nice.
people. I've got this wonderful woman named Nikki Lathbury. She's lovely. I've got Louisa Clark. I've got my manager, Louise Collins. Um, there's a gentleman that I know that works with I'm not going to say which company, named Ian Wallace. He's fantastic, and he he's inspiring. And I'd also say, and this probably is a bit weird, I know you said which leaders or mentors, but the young woman that I'm mentoring at the moment, her name's Hannah. She's new to the industry and she's got so much great potential. She inspires me, and I think that's not just leaders and mentors that inspire you. It can be the next generation too.
Hmm. Nice. So just touching on that next generation, it actually comes into my question. What advice would you give to the next generation of female leaders?
This is just going perfectly. I love it.
It is.
Um, be disruptive.
Yeah.
People see disruption as a negative thing, but as with most things, there can be a positive or a negative side to it. So, and also sometimes it's needed. You need to shake things up if you want things to change. Um, we it's a difficult one. It's just difficult. It's go in there, mess things up, try new ideas. And the other thing I think I would say to the next generation is we need more of you.
Mhm.
Facilities management, as I said at the beginning, and said for most of my peers, it's probably not something we picked. So I would really love the next generation of female leaders to at least investigate or have a conversation about it to get it more mainstream, because it's a very rewarding role.
Nice. And then I'm just going to wrap up with my final question. Would you have any additional advice for females within facilities?
Um, yeah, I would say don't don't get put off when things don't go the way you expect them to. And more than that, there's no point in trying to be perfect. It's unattainable, unachievable, and quite frankly, boring.
Mhm.
Um, do your best, enjoy the little wins. And the one main thing I'm going to say to everyone is we need to stop apologizing for everything all the time.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you would agree. We need to stop apologizing. Just stop.
Yeah.
That's the biggest advice.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Andrea. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.